And good morning, space engineers. This is Mr. Kasarian, and today we are actually in a test world. Well, it's not a test world, it's a creative world. But it will be my test world. You guys are probably wondering what we're going to be working on today. Well, we're going to be working on a drill tutorial to show you guys how to create that drill that I showed you in my Let's Play series. So let's get started here, shall we? Alright, so the first things first, right, we're going to need box. Okay? Box. Yes, a box. Pretty decent sized box. Alright. Now, you guys have seen the finished product of my drill. 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. You guys have seen the finished product of this in my Let's Play world. And I had a couple requests for a construction tutorial for this. And I figured, why the heck not? You guys probably could use to see it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get started trying to put this thing together. Now, this drill relies on motors, or rather rotors and wheels to operate, instead of relying on a system such as pistons. Okay? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Okay, so how is this thing going to work? Well, that is actually a pretty good question here. So this machine basically relies on the concept that you're using these rotors, right, to move the ship. Now, we know for a fact it's going to be a 3x3 center core, which is fine. So, let me just figure out how I'm going to put this thing together. Right. So, let's start this thing out, shall we? We need to get ourselves, first things first, some rotor blocks, like that. And with these, we want to make sure they're oriented correctly. So, I'm going to start them here, actually. And it's not overly important how you set this thing up. Just go 1, and I just want to make sure I can go like that, that. Not too bad. And then we're going to get our 1x1 wheels. Alright. Let me see here. Actually, we're going to have to bump these out a step. Okay. Now, building this thing is less, I'd say, scientific. And it can be more of an art, alright? Because you're basically trying to get these wheels lined up properly. Okay? And that's going to be the center line block right there. Okay? So that's going to be the block that all this stuff transitions through. Not too bad, right? Right. Okay, so now, if you envision that we have these blocks here, we're going to have another block above. So you can't place this, because remember, there's an exclusion zone because of these wheels. And because these wheels are actually on a new grid, basically. Put that there. Now, let's see. We go over to this side. We want... It's hard to do without the drill actually being in place there. Now, let's give ourselves a little bit of a hint. See, you can't do it the way you think you want to, because of that exclusion zone. So, we need the verticals. Let's see here. So keep them in this line. Be in that line, alright. Like that. Like that. Go, let's see. Nope. There we go. You want to be consistent with these, alright? Because these are all going to be driving this thing. So let's go across. Like that. Like that. And put these guys down. Okay, now remember about the exclusion zone I told you about, right? So we can come out before we can come back over the top. Because now, right, we need to go up a little bit more. Let's see, that's there. Corner, side. We need to put these things down in here. Nope. Maybe like this. And let's just make sure that orients itself correctly. Beautiful. And let's put these guys together. Now you want to be a little careful. And yes, the top and the bottom will not be perfectly aligned, but you honestly don't need them to be. Okay. Throw these guys down and put these on as well. Beautiful. Alright. Now we have the final step. Just going to fire blocking this in a little bit. Oops, not what I wanted, but that's alright. Put that down like so. And oh, right. Has to be coming down from the top now. Okay, so the reason these have to be oriented specific ways is because you essentially need to make sure that they're all going to rotate in roughly the same direction. Roughly the same direction, alright? So, let's flip this around. Okay. Ah, right. Forgot about this. Now, if you notice, I am constructing this whole thing as a station. And there is actually a very good reason for that. Basically, it allows me a lot more freedom in how I work with this stuff. Put that down there. Put our wheels on. And the last wheel. Alright. That should roughly be a 3x3. Beautiful. Okay, so now that that's done, let's just build off a little platform over here. Actually, what we can do is we can do this. Let's go... What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, that's one thing. And then... just some sort of my ease of maneuvering. There we go. Okay, so now let's build a new station. Now, this new station is going to actually be the drill bit. Okay, new station. Now let's switch you over to the heavy armor block. And we're just going to build it out like this. Beautiful. I'm just going to drag all this forward. So what we're building right now is actually the shaft of the ship, all right? And that shaft is going to be what is actually moved by... Hold on. That shaft is actually what's going to be moved by our... by those wheels. Sorry. I'm answering questions from people while I'm doing this. So that shaft's going to be what's moved by those wheels, and it's going to be what provides the grip. So there's a reason I'm making it out of heavy armor block. Because if I didn't, it would honestly suffer some decent damage, actually. And we do want this drill head to be decently long. Doesn't have to be ridiculous, but, you know, we want it to be able to kind of cope with a decent length. Alright, so let's put that on there. And then, let's finish it up. And of course, these light armor blocks are just there to, you know, make it look pretty. Let's pull across. And let's flip this one. And pull that down. It does make it look pretty, but it also allows you to do some other cool stuff. Well, mostly it holds the entire thing together. So this should be long enough, I think. Let's see. 17. 17. Where's this up here? Is nowhere close. Perfect. Okay, so the next step of this whole thing is a little cheaty. We have to get this thing into there. How are we going to do it? Well, let me show you how I did it in my Let's Play world. All we need here, let's see, let's get... Ooh, battery. Cool. Let's get ourselves here. We have a reactor. We're also going to need... Where are you, buddy? A gyro. Some small thrusters. Okay. So let's go... Oops. Let's go reactor, gyro, thruster, thruster, and yes, we're going to push this thing in there under its own power. The other thing you can do is you can emerge block this thing to a towing ship. Alright. You don't want to try it with landing gear, though, because it's almost impossible. Alright? Almost. I would say it's entirely impossible, but close enough. And there. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a cockpit. Let's get into the cockpit. Okay, and now we want to convert this thing over to a station, right? So you come into here, info, convert to ship. I'm just going to line it up. Zoom out a little bit. Okay. So now what we want to do is come back over here. I'm going to find not available for station. Interesting. Okay. Thought I had an interface panel of a different sort around here somewhere. Maybe? Maybe. Somewhere. Okay. Yeah, I thought I had an interface panel that one of these mods added, other than the small interface. I mean, if we don't, that's fine. But it could just be that I'm not seeing it because I'm exhausted. Oh, there it is. There. Okay. So we're going to select all of these rotors. I'm going to give them high torque. High braking force went off. Okay, so those are pushing out right now. So let's do that. Let's call them motors. Save. And reverse them. And they are all rotating in the correct direction. Alright, so what we should be able to do now is just hop into this thing. Just gently slide her in here. Very, very gently. Very gently. Unless you screwed something up, like I apparently did. Okay, so that's not a huge big deal. Basically, one of these sets of motors needs to move up a little bit. So just pull yourself off. And now here is also where it's easier to be in creative mode for this sort of thing. So you do that. Excuse me. And we can do this. And we could come down here. And that should have set everything. Oh, okay, it didn't. Okay, and now we just need to set the braking forces back to maximum. Beautiful. Just a quick couple-second fix. Of course, in an actual building world, that would have taken a heck of a lot longer. So now what we want to do is we need to hop in this thing, thrust up a little bit, and let's take a look at the front. Alright, so we're not quite in here. Okay. Not a huge problem. Just have to keep kind of... There we go. We've been grabbed. Just kind of want to wait until it's been grabbed by multiple of these wheels. Just so that it's straightened. As you guys can see, being grabbed by multiple wheels is actually straightening this whole thing out. Now I can start pulling this stuff off. Just like so. Alright. So now that's together. Alright. And let's shut this thing down for just a minute. And that holds it stable. See? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so now that this thing's been grabbed, the rest of this is pretty easy. Basically, all you need to do is just put your drill head on it. And the drill head I did was fairly simple. But looking at the timing of this, we're going to have to get to the drill head and the other components of this thing in another episode. So that may come out later this week. I'll have the completion tutorial for finishing this thing up. But as for right now, we've been successful. We have built the drill shaft itself. We've built the station that's actually going to be moving it. And we have now successfully merged the drill shaft with the carrier frame. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Kassarian. And as always, guys, happy mining.